Hey guys! So I wanted to talk to you guys about the Bible lesson, the story that you guys watched yesterday. I hope you enjoyed that. It might have been a little silly, but it was the best that I could do under the circumstances that we're in. And I thought it'd be a fun way to portray the story of Mary and Martha. So I hope you enjoyed it. And today we're going to talk a little bit about that story. But before we do that, I wanted to go over your memory verse one last time today and remind you that today's assignment for your Bible is to do a video of you saying your memory verse with the hand motions. Okay, so let's go over the verse with the hand motions one last time. Live a life filled with love, following the example of Christ. He loved us and offered himself as a sacrifice for us, a pleasing aroma to God. Ephesians 5, verse 2. Very good. So make sure you guys are studying that. Practice, 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 and make a video of yourself saying that and send it to me, all right? Thank you so much to those of you who have been doing that. You guys are really keeping up with your work, and that makes me really happy. So keep it up. Those of you who have not been sending it, please make sure that you do, okay? This is part of your grade. It's an assignment that you're given. So make sure you do that and send it to me, please. Now, let's go back to our story of Mary and Martha. So as you saw in the video that I made, Mary and Martha kind of were on separate pages. You know, Jesus was coming to visit them, and Martha was really worried about getting everything done, getting everything ready, make sure the house was clean, make sure the food was made, the table was set, and everything looked perfect for Jesus. And it's not that Mary wasn't worried about that. Of course, it's important to present your house in a nice way, make sure everything looks nice and neat. You know, you don't want to be slobs. You want to present your best to God, or to Jesus in this case. However, the problem is that, Martha was worried about that, and then when Jesus came, she stayed worried about that. She wasn't as worried about, talking to Jesus and making the most of the time that he was there and learning from Jesus and, making the most of the moment. And Mary, she was, focused on helping Martha and all that stuff until Jesus got there. Then she was, all focused on Jesus. It's all about him and what he has to say and what he has to teach us, and just she was just really excited about that moment, having that moment with Jesus. And so Martha was not very pleased with that. She was like, this is not really fair. Mary is here sitting here just talking with Jesus and just listening to him, and I'm doing all the work. I'm stuck doing all the work by myself. So she went to Jesus and she kind of complained, like, Jesus, hello, what's going on? Why? It's not fair. Why am I the only one worried about this? Can you please, like, tell Martha to come help me? Because she's not listening to me. And Jesus had to give Martha a reality check. He's like, Martha, honestly, like, you're not focused on the right things right now. Mary has found what the right thing is. She's focused on what needs to happen, and you're kind of not focused on the right thing right now. Um, and in the video yesterday, I don't know if you caught this, but Martha said a word. She said, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that my priorities were not straight. So the word priority, what does priority mean? Well, priority means when you make that the most important thing. So especially when there's a lot of things in front of you, the priority is the thing you put first, okay? So Martha's priority was to make sure the house was nice, that the food was ready, that everything was perfect, presentable to Jesus. And that's not what the most important thing is. That should not have been the priority. It's okay that she got that done right up until Jesus got there. But after Jesus got there, the priority should have been what? Him, the guest of honor, especially him. He has so much to teach us, so much to learn from him. And so the priority should have shifted to Jesus, but it didn't. And that story shows us about things that happen today. Sometimes we get so busy with so many things. We have our schoolwork, we have our chores, we have our extracurricular activities like, our sports teams or our gymnastics, swimming, art classes, music classes, whatever it is that we have after school, we get so busy with all of that, caught up in all of that, that sometimes we miss what the real priority is, which is what? Spending time with Jesus, like we talked about yesterday. That should be our number one priority. Before we go um, do all of that stuff, we need to make sure that we take time for Jesus and have worship, pray, and read our Bible. That's why in school we would start every morning with worship, or on Mondays we would start it with chapel. And that's why here at online school, that's the first video I want you to watch is usually the worship and announcements video. That should be the first one so we can start our day with Jesus, okay? So that is something that happens till today. Martha is not, a horrible person because she did that. She's human. We all do that. There are times that we maybe don't pray as soon as we wake up or before we go to bed. There are times that we may not read our Bible and spend time with Jesus. So it's not like Martha was a horrible person and, oh, Martha, you are terrible. No, she was human. She is human. We all do that. Well, we need to remember, we need to remind ourselves not to do that. We need to fix that. No, Jesus needs to be our priority. Okay? That is what we need to learn from Mary. Mary had the great attitude of shifting her perspective. Jesus is here. He's my priority now. So remember last week we talked about how our friends can add goodness into our life, or add taste into our life. Jesus has that ability. He adds so much good in our life. And Jesus just wanted that for Martha. He wanted to add good into her life. And, even after they talked about it, Jesus gave her that chance. He said, you can come. There's still time. You can join me. And let me add this goodness to your life. So you see, that's how we tie in last week's lesson to this week's lesson. Jesus has the tastiness to add to our life. We just have to let him. And we have to do our part to let him. We have to do our part in reading our devotion, reading our Bible, and praying. So I hope you really enjoyed this lesson. I know I did. It teaches me a lot. It puts things in perspective to not forget to, focus on what our priorities are. Because yes, those other things are important, but they shouldn't be the most important thing that we forget about the most important thing. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed it. Please go and make your videos, practice your memory verse. You have your quiz on Friday. And yeah, don't forget you have your weekend review on Friday, and questions about this lesson will be on there. So I hope you're paying attention and that you are able to answer those questions on Friday.